going to talk today about knowledge-based objectives. My name is Mary Lynn Moody. I'm the Associate Dean of Professional and Government Affairs and a Clinical Associate Professor in the Department of Pharmacy Practice at the University of Illinois College of Pharmacy. So what is a learning objective? It's a clear statement that links the identified need with the anticipated outcome or results. Learning objectives are required to offer educational credit for an activity. The activity type can be either knowledge-based, application-based, or practice-based. We require 3 learning objectives for each 1 hour of continuing education activity. Characteristics of effective learning objectives are that they are measurable, specific, and observable verbs. A single action verb per objective is recommended, which correlates to the activity type, and it describes the learner's outcome. We're going to talk specifically about knowledge-based learning objectives. So first of all, begin with the end. It's recommended that you first of all identify the objectives of your program. So when you write a new objective, you need to think about what's the current state or the current practice, what are you trying to achieve, and then what's the educational gap. So the recommended format is to begin with, at the completion of this learning activity, participants should be able to, and then we're going to create our 3 knowledge-based objectives. We'll talk a little bit about these verbs on the next slide. And then we're going to complete it with the desired measurable learning outcome. These are knowledge-based verbs. This is a slide that really identifies the higher order thinking skills. So what we're talking about with our knowledge-based verbs is knowledge and comprehension. We're not looking at application, analysis, evaluation, that higher order thinking skills. So examples of knowledge-based verbs would be things like define, describe, classify, state. Those are examples of knowledge-based verbs. Now let's walk through our knowledge-based objective and how to complete the CPE worksheet. So let's start again at the end. The last column is our learning objective. Discuss PrEP prescribing initiatives such as teleprep and same-day PrEP delivery. Okay, so that's our knowledge-based learning objective. Now let's go to the current state or the current practice, which is the first column. So since we're going to be reviewing the initiatives, we first of all need to identify what the current state or practice is. Of the 1 million patients within the United States who would benefit from PrEP, less than 25% are prescribed PrEP, even when PrEP can be prescribed through initiatives such as teleprep and same-day PrEP delivery. So that's the current state. There's an opportunity for us to improve practice. So what is the desired or achievable state? Clinicians will have increased knowledge, because this is a knowledge-based objective. They will have increased knowledge of how to utilize programs such as teleprep and same-day PrEP delivery to increase the number of eligible patients receiving PrEP. To ensure participants have the knowledge of available prescribing PrEP options, they will be asked in an assessment when to prescribe PrEP and how to find prescribing resources with an expected 80% correct response rate. So what you're trying to achieve is you're trying to increase their knowledge, and you're going to measure it by asking them specific questions with an 80% correct response rate. Okay, so what is the actual educational gap? The gap is there is a lack of knowledge among clinicians of the importance of prescribing PrEP to eligible patients. Therefore, participants need to be educated on the available prescribing options for PrEP prescribing for eligible patients. So, what's the current state? There are patients that aren't receiving PrEP. What's the expected or achievable state? We want to increase clinicians' knowledge about how to utilize these programs. What's the educational gap? There's a lack of knowledge, and we're therefore going to educate our participants on the available options. So completing the CPE worksheet isn't that hard, but it's a little intimidating when you first look at it. So hopefully going through this example will help you be more confident in completing the CPE worksheet.